When we look back at the history of the NBA, the current period of the bubble might be the most bizarre and kinda cool thing the league has ever done. But what's going to happen to Magic City when it's all over? Will it become a museum? A giant weed dispensary? The setting for Space Jam 3? Luckily for these basketball stadiums, we already know their fates. Some are sad, some bizarre, and all of them are pretty interesting. What happened to these former NBA arenas is coming up right after this. This video is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Look, during these weird times, you gotta keep your boys in shape and properly groomed. But on top of that, you gotta package them correctly. That's why Manscaped created the Perfect Package 3.0, which includes the new Lawnmower 3.0 water-resistant body trimmer made with advanced skin-safe technology. This kit has everything: Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Ball Toning Spray, and my favorite, the custom Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs. Look, if you're gonna venture out into the world, you want to present to whoever that lucky person is properly, and these bad boys keep things cool with crop cooling technology and is made from super soft Contour Flex technology that promotes breathability and repels that nasty moisture. All of this works in tandem with the products I just mentioned for an optimal comfort experience. Purchase them all together at manscaped.com and opt for the peak hygiene plan and get new boxers delivered to your door every replenishment cycle. Like I said, go to manscaped.com, 5-points, and get the Perfect Package 3.0 for 20% off, free shipping, and 2 free gifts. Manscaped.com, your balls will thank you. Once the home of the Seattle Supersonics and formerly named the Key Arena, this nearly 60-year-old building was only in use for the last 20 years for the WNBA. So it was basically abandoned when the Sonics went to OKC. Refurbished and redeveloped into the Climate Pledge Arena, the unique name was given to it by Jeff Bezos, who rather than naming it the Amazon Center, he wanted to bring awareness to something we all forgot about at the start of 2020. Major sports will return to the arena next year when the Seattle Kraken occupy the building, legally. Now for a building that has something to do with our current situation, the Sleep Train Arena housed the Kings for nearly 30 years, then was close to abandoned, serving as the backdrop for swap meets and Jehovah's Witness gatherings. Now the gym has been turned into a temporary hospital during the pandemic. Hopefully it's not renamed Death Train Arena. A very short-lived venue in both the NBA and life in general, Reunion Arena was opened in 1980, out of use by the NBA by 2001, and completely demolished in 2009. Nothing has been done with the site since, though the adjacent parking structure still stands. For now and the foreseeable future, the site will remain as an empty lot. I guess they have plenty of room in Texas. Place associated with either beating up opponents literally, figuratively, or physically, and despite its rhyming with the word malice, the Palace never sold out its good name to a corporate sponsor. Though the WWE could have named this place and nobody would have been shocked. The Palace became obsolete in 2017 when the Pistons moved into Little Caesars Arena. Demolition was recently completed on the building, and the land has been slated to become a mixed-use office park. I wonder if you can pay to have a cubicle be on the exact spot Ron Artest punched a fan in his face. Bet you didn't know Cincinnati used to have an NBA team, and that was the Royals, who came from Rochester, became the Kansas City Kings, then became the Sacramento Kings, a team passed around more than the Roans through the Cardinals locker room. Though no major sports teams occupied the building since 1972, it was in use for a full 67 years by minor league ice hockey and by indoor football and soccer teams. It was finally demolished in 2018 and will be the site of a manufacturing plant in the future. Isn't there another factory of sadness across town and across the state? an iconic arena designed by boxing promoter Tex Rickard. The Boston Garden was originally called Boston Madison Square Garden, a name that makes most Celtic fans puke. It played host of the glory years of the ugliest team in basketball. Despite it not having air conditioning, it was in use for nearly 60 years. It sat abandoned for 3 years after TD Garden was built and is now the site of the Hub on the Causeway, a commercial office building. I wonder if the lobby has parquet floors. Ah yes, an arena as defunct as its naming partner. The buried half-pipe served the Bullets, the Capitals, and failure for 20 plus years. The building was home to superfan Robin Ficker, a local lawyer who would heckle the ever-living crap out of opponents and refs with the bullhorn and insults.
Did anybody take a swing at you?
Yeah. Coach Frank Layden did.
It was imploded in 2002 and replaced with the bougie shopping mall that has since been demolished itself. The AMWAY Arena, not to be confused with the AMWAY Center, was home to the Magic for 20 years. The building had several names, the first being the Orlando Arena, then TD Waterhouse Center, then the Arena in Orlando, then they sold their souls to the MLM Devil in 2007. The building was partially demolished in 2012 with the corner columns still standing. The next plan for the area is to build a creative village to attract tech companies with office and residential space, all of which will receive a 2-hour pitch on AMWAY before moving in. A building that was revived for one last season in order to witness an 18-win Bobcat team in 2004, the Charlotte Coliseum was so forgettable that for several years after the stadium was demolished, highway signs still directed people to the arena that didn't exist. Finally demolished in 2007, City Park, a mixed-use development, stands on its former site. A plaque somewhere honors the former arena. Did you know there was more than one Madison Square Garden? In fact, there have been like 4 of them. Located on the west side of Manhattan between 49th and 50th Streets, the Garden stood for nearly 40 years, then was demolished in 1968. It was a parking lot for nearly 20 years before becoming Worldwide Plaza, a very, very tall building in Manhattan. One of the few buildings on this list where the majority of it is still standing, the KEMPER Arena has a long history of notable events, including the Final Four in 1988, the tragic death of Owen Hart in 1999, and a roof collapse early in its history. After the NBA left in 1985, the venue served various alternative pro sports leagues, but was also a mecca for college basketball. However, without a permanent tenant, the arena suffered from low utilization, and in 2017 it underwent a conversion into a youth sports facility and was renamed the Hy-Vee Arena. Another factory of sadness, Richfield served its 20-year usage in Northeast Ohio and then was ultimately demolished in 1999 to become a national park. Yes, after sitting empty for 5 years, Ohio thought it best just to level the place and make it a spot for bird watching, which is what fans used to do in the 80s when he scored on their team relentlessly. Apparently it's a good place to see some bobolink and sparrows. Who knew? Another Midwestern arena you probably never heard of. This one is interesting as it was part sports, part opera house, as the building was split in two. Yes, on one end you could watch the WCW, on the other, a performance of La Boheme. The arena portion was demolished in 1992 and was replaced with what is now known as the Scott Trade Center. The opera house was vacant for a time but was refurbished in 2011 and renamed the Peabody. This was a small arena, but trust me, it was lit. That's because after it was abandoned, it was destroyed by arson in 1983 and was burned to the ground. Damn, son. Since 2007, the site has been a housing complex. God had a plan for this arena. Well, Joel Osteen did anyways. Once the Summit had seen its share of NBA championships and the Rockets left the arena, the building was renovated and leased by Lakewood Church, one of the world's largest mega churches. Led by Joel Osteen, who lives in a $10 million house, Lakewood would eventually come to outright own the building in 2010. The facility can seat 16,000 worshipers, plus can turn 3 services on Sunday, probably outdrawing the Florida Panthers in just one day. The IZOD Center is not only a relic of the past when the Nets played in Jersey, but it's also become the site of some major drama. Since the Devils moved to the Prudential Center and the Nets left for Brooklyn, the building had sat abandoned for nearly 10 years before it finally got some usage as a film studio. NBC films The Enemy Within and Lincoln Rhyme from inside the building's cavernous walls. It also serves as a rehearsal space. I wonder if they do piano recitals in there too. And finally, our last, most interesting former NBA arena. Memphis, I get it. You were named after an ancient Egyptian city, but I'm not sure what that has to do with Tennessee, like a Parthenon in Nashville. The pyramid, built in 1991, served as an odd monument and house of the NBA from 2001 to 2004. Due to its proximity to the Mississippi River and poor drainage, it suffered multiple floods and was replaced in 2004. But then after sitting empty for a decade, a new awesome tenant took over the building. Bass Pro Shops. Nothing more non-Egyptian than that, right, my fellow Americans? The kick-ass facility has an archery range, a shooting range, and a laser arcade. You can even ride an elevator to the top and have lunch. Kick-ass, sea bass. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to check out the sponsor, Manscaped, from the link below, and leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to my next video.